yeah, looking at your journey, how did you get into the sports side of graphic design?
Uh, so I was always into sports from when I was young, and I I had a friend who was like posting on Instagram, and he was like, "Oh, you should start going on Photoshop," and I was like, "Okay." So I downloaded a cracked version of Photoshop, as everyone does when they start, and then we just started messing around. Started following some tutorials on YouTube, which got me going for the first 6 months or something, and we started creating some pieces. They were like really really bad, but that's always how you start. You copy people's tutorials and you get going so you're confident. And I kept posting on Instagram, and I was posting some pretty bad stuff, but it was good fun to see progression. And
Yeah,
then yeah, I just kept going.
yeah. I think I when I first started out, I started on Canvas, so it was like
Oh, nice.
very basic, and then slowly graduated to Photoshop. Um,
Yeah,
but yeah, and then so you mentioned you're at university.
yeah,
Are you studying something in this graphic uh,
yeah.
area?
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm studying graphic design. I'm in my
okay,
second year at the moment.
okay. So still very early days. But yeah,
Yeah,
you're enjoying it, I guess.
yeah, it's great. Yeah, I'm not really doing sports stuff at uni, which is actually good because it keeps it different for me, and I can focus on the sports stuff and then learn other stuff at uni, which is great.
And the goal, obviously, you've got that passion for sports. There is it still to once you leave university to still kind of be in the sports realm, or are you wanting to
Yeah,
go outside of
most
that?
likely, most likely sports, just because that's what I enjoy and that's what I have a knowledge in, which is quite important to have a knowledge in what you're doing. Because if you don't have a background knowledge in what you're doing, then your work can lack a lot of substance and sort of emotion behind it because you can't quite understand who you're designing for. Whereas sort of I'm the audience for the work that I produce, which really helps when I'm working because I know exactly what I'd want to see, so I can produce that. So I think sports is what I enjoy the most.
Okay. And you mentioned your friend in the beginning there, also starting out. Is he still also
No,
okay?
he didn't make it past the 6 months six
Uh,
month stage.
okay. Um, and one of the other things I noticed was that you've got a Patreon going in that.
Yeah,
And what's your experience been with like using a platform like that to kind of I guess gain a bit of income as well as yeah
yeah.
networking a bit.
Patreon's cool because I can get people that follow me and are interested. I can give them my work and then they can see the process. Because that's also how I learned is seeing how other people did stuff and then take small things from other people's processes and you can implement it into your own work. So I think it's great to be able to give people a bit of that and then they can take something from my work and put it in theirs.
And did you start out before you had your own page on Patreon? Did you follow others on there to
I didn't know.
okay
I literally just started it. Uh, I think it was December 2022. I just started it then, just to see if anyone would sign up, and some people actually did,
okay
which is cool.
yeah. And I saw also that you've got some tutorials and that you've done yourself on YouTube.
I do,
Uh,
yeah,
so I guess it's you've learned did you predominantly learn from YouTube in the early days, and now it's like
yeah.
you kind of starting your own one.
Yeah, I mean, for the first year or so, it was like literally every design I needed YouTube to help me out on Photoshop. I mean, now you still look up some stuff on YouTube when you need help with stuff, but it's not as much anymore. But it's good to be able to create some videos which can help people. Sort of the stuff that I would have wanted to see when I was starting off. Like I've done some kit swap stuff. I done speed arts, which are cool because that's literally everything. And then I've done. I'm gonna pull it up right now. I did retouching tutorial, and then I've just done some general design breakdowns to show people, what I do. And yeah, people seem to like it, which is cool.
Yeah, well, I saw your channel's nearing the 1,000 mark, which is always a nice little milestone.
It's not bad considering I've put up 6 videos. I need to
Yeah,
post some more.
yeah. Maybe there's something there. But
Yeah.
I guess balancing that along university work, along life, is quite difficult.
Yeah, it's
Or
hard.
challenging. Yeah.
Especially because with uni, I'm doing graphic design, and that's quite full on. So to be able to do my own work on top of that graphic design is actually quite a lot, because you need to keep fresh when you're creative. So it's quite difficult. Whereas if I was doing uni in like a different subject and then I had graphics, I'd probably be able to do a lot more, because I wouldn't be using all my creativity during the day, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. And
Yeah.
how do you? Are there any things that you do in your personal life that help you maintain that kind of balance when it comes to being creative? Because, like you say, if you're being creative from 9 to 5 at university the whole time, like, and then you still want to create something in the evening,
Yeah.
how do you ensure that you've got enough energy or stimulants to do that?
Well, I think the best part is to literally just not design, like take some days off during the week. Sometimes I literally won't do any work for like 3 days straight, and that will keep me fresh for the week. And then I could work for a long time during the day. But it's all about like not burning yourself out and not forcing yourself to do stuff. If you don't want to do it, then you don't need to force yourself to do it every time, because then your work's just gonna not be a great quality. That's what I found.
And just going back to the YouTube side of things, what were like what do you think are the main things that someone starting out in sports, in graphic design, should kind of focus in on learning to like just elevate their kind of graphic?
I think when you're starting out, the best thing to do is literally copy designs exactly how they're made, so that you can, obviously you don't post them and credit it as your own work, but if you copy stuff, then it sort of shows you all the techniques you can do. And then after you've done like 10 or something, you'll find that you actually have a decent knowledge of what you are capable of doing. And then you'll be able to use those techniques and put them in your own work. And then, of course, like if you're struggling with the technique, then look it up on YouTube. That's what I always do. And you'll always find some like Indian guy that can show you the answer.
And yeah, are there any particular people that you follow, like in the space, whether it be on YouTube or other socials, like to get inspiration from, or is it just?
I really like Benny Productions on YouTube. I don't know if you know about him.
Yeah.
I think everyone does.
Yeah.
Yeah, he makes
Very
some
entertaining.
really impressive stuff. Yeah, he's entertaining as well, which is cool. But his stuff's crazy impressive. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, he's quite interesting, and he's got quite a variety as well on his channel. It's like it's Photoshop, but it's also like a whole bunch of things.
It's really annoying though, because he makes everything look so easy. And I watch it and I'm like, I could definitely do all that. And then I try and it's like, no chance.
Or the other thing is time. He makes it look so easy and so quick. It was like,
and then he says at the end it took him like 5 days.
Yeah. I find that like I struggle. I was speaking to someone else about it, with when you're kind of coming to the end of a design, and to like stop doing anything to it. Like you always look at something like, oh, I don't know, shade this a bit better, or tinker around here, maybe try this overlay or something like that. So
yeah,
like,
I do that.
Yeah. What's your experience with that?
I mean, for most pieces I make, I'll finish it and then I'll be like, no, I need to change this like 10 times. I think it's natural for any designer, if you see the small things in your work that no one else will see, and you're not satisfied until you finished it. But it's mainly in personal work. Like for client work, I'm not as bothered. But for personal work, it's like oh, this has to be perfect just for me. But no one would ever notice the changes you made. And then I'll look back like 6 months later on my camera roll, and it's like, why do I have 10 pictures that are exactly the same? I'm like, oh, there's got to be some small differences.
Yeah, you have to
So
play your own spot the difference.
yeah, exactly. You sort of got to be like, no, these small things actually don't matter. You just got to be happy with it, because there's always going to be something you can change, and then you're never going to be satisfied with anything.
Yeah, I definitely think it's something. I think I've also got a bit of OCD when it comes to the graphic design stuff.
Yeah,
But you've also just got to learn to like just to stop at a certain point. Like if you've got 80% of the way there, you've basically there. The
exactly.
20% is like really just nitpicking at stuff.
Yeah,
And then I saw as well that you've done something for DAZONE, I think, at some point.
yeah. I did a piece for DAZONE in end of December. They came to me. I think they messaged me at like 7 p.m. one day, and I responded at like 11 p.m. I'm like, yeah, I can do this, but I quoted them like really high. And I was like, I don't really want to do this because they've said we need it turned around by tomorrow. So I'm gonna quote a load of money, and then they're probably gonna say no, which means I don't have to rush this in a day. And they said, oh, okay, that sounds good. So I had like 6 hours to do this piece, which was promoting the renewal of DAZN's contract for the Belgium League, I think. And I had to cut out like 10 pieces around this thing. It took me like 6 hours. I started at 9 a.m. I finished at 3. And then I was doing revisions for another the 2 hours. And then they were finally happy by like 6 p.m. or something. So I'd been working for like 9 hours straight. And then the bloke turned around the work and they'd posted it by the next like 7 a.m. the next day. It was crazy.
That's
The
mad.
turnaround. Yeah.
And so they reached out to you. They just like messaged out of the blue.
Yeah, like 7 p.m. and then 24 hours later it was all finalized.
And
That's the
what was
quickest project ever.
what was that like?
I mean, it was actually quite fun to work under. I mean, I wouldn't have said that at the time, but at the end of it, it was fun to work under that time. And yeah, I got paid a lot of money. That's what happens when you're working on under that amount of time. So it's always good.
How did you land on the figure? Did you just like kind of just
I
pull a
mean,
number out, or did you like
yeah, I
actually
just
think about it?
I put it high. I put it
Okay.
high because I was like, they're probably going to say no, but if they do say no, I won't be complaining.
Yeah. And was it working for a client like that where it's maybe like a bit more corporate-y, and yeah, you've got the stress of time turning around.
Yeah.
Were they kind of quite happy with how things played out, or were they messaging you like every couple of hours, like, "Hey, like how are things going? When are we going to see this?"
I think I messaged them once during the process, and then, I mean, the revisions was really funny. But after I sent over the thing, I was messaging the guy that was sorting the thing, and then he was obviously messaging someone higher up, and he was like, "Yeah, this is good. I'll send it off to the person higher up." And the person higher up was like, "Oh, we need the logo bigger in the middle," as they always say. And then I did it, and then he was like, "No, we need it bigger." And I think that happened for about 5 times. And that was all the revision was just keep making the logo bigger. And then the bloke I was messaging was like, "I'm so sorry, it needs to be bigger again."
That sounds like a proper corporate environment. Like
Yeah,
we just want to make sure that our logo is as big as possible on this. We don't care about your ratios or how you've set this out. It's just like
yeah,
our
exactly.
logo needs to be big.
Yeah, everyone will experience that.
Yeah. Well, that's quite an interesting story. And have you worked with any other clients? Over
Yeah,
the
I've just finished my contract with NHL Europe, which I've been doing for a year. Yeah, it was last March I started, and I've just finished that, which was promotional pieces. Like I was doing 2 a week for the NHL, advertising the games on television for the European channels on Saturday and Sunday, which was good fun.
And how did that kind of contact or work come about?
They just messaged me on Twitter maybe or something like that. They just messaged me saying, "Oh, can you do this?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then obviously it carried on, which was good.
It must be quite a nice feeling getting people messaging you or requesting your work, and you not even having to go out to actually
Yeah,
look for jobs.
yeah. It's a lot easier when people message you because it's like, oh, they've looked at my work and they want me for what I can do. So it almost feels like I don't have to suit what you want. You already know what you want, and you found someone that can create that. So I can sort of create my own stuff in my own style and feel comfortable in that. So it's a lot
Yeah,
better. Yeah,
yeah, and it must be quite nice as well, being you still, yeah, like you say, you're second on your second year university, and you're earning money already last year, kind of
yeah, yeah.
on the side. So yeah, like I'm sure you're quite far ahead than most other people in the graphic design or starting out in the graphic design
Yeah,
world.
yeah. It's really helpful, yeah, to keep doing the work on the side and then have uni as well. I remember I was doing working when I was in college, which was for my A levels. I used to come home. I think I had a contract with Give Me Sport, which is was for Instagram. I think they've got, I don't know, 1 million or something on Instagram. I had a contract with them during the World Cup, and I was in my final year of A levels. And it was in December, and I had so much work for them, and I'd come home from college like every day, and I'd have to bang out like 3 designs. I think my grades definitely tanked, but I was enjoying the work at the time. But
Yeah,
thankfully at uni, I've got a bit more time to do the work, and I've actually done some of that work and counted that for my projects at uni,
okay.
which is a lot nicer.
And was at that point, was it just kind of speed rounds, like just
Yeah,
I've got 2 hours, I'm gonna push out whatever I can in that time frame.
yeah, I did not care about the quality then because I was under such. It was in the World Cup and it was like reactive pieces for the games, and then yeah, I had to bang out so many pieces so quickly. That was stressful.
And parents at all, did they have any reservations about you like working after doing your A levels and that?
Um, no, they were quite happy with me earning money because I used to have when I got a job when I was 16, which was like washing up in a cafe, and I used to have that job, and I had it for about a year when I was doing my own personal work, and then that job ended because the cafe shut down, so I didn't have a job, and then a month later I started getting this paid work, and then my mum was quite pleased because I'd actually got myself an income after the job came to an end. So I think they're quite happy they can earn money.
Yeah, and probably a relatively or something you enjoy for one,
Yeah,
as well as probably got bigger prospects, like with the amount of money you can earn doing graphic design, and that doesn't have a ceiling really.
yeah,
It's
exactly.
whatever the person's willing to pay, as you've
Yeah, it's great.
experienced with DAZONE. So yeah, and what are you looking like forward into the future? What would your ideal like work be? Do you want to be working in the Premier League, or do you want to be a freelancer working on multiple projects? Like, do you have an idea of what that looks like?
I actually still don't know yet. There's certainly drawbacks and positives for both, whether that be freelancing or working in a studio. I think the draw to freelancing is the freedom, and also there's no cap on how much you earn. But then there's also a lot less security in your job, and it can also be like lonely. That if you're just sat there working by yourself every day, that's quite a lonely experience. Whereas it's very enjoyable to work with other people. So there is drawbacks to both, and I'm still not decided yet on what I want to do. But I graduate in 18 months, so I've got a while yet.
Yeah, you've got time to still to decide.
Yeah,
And yeah, just looking or either previously or current, with regards to when you're setting out and creating a graphic, and that is there something that you've picked up that you just keep on doing now, that's instilled in you, that you've picked up over the years?
Yeah, I mean, I think the best thing that I've always done is keeping stuff vibrant and just aiming to create a piece that's enjoyable to look at. It's like the most simple advice you could ever give someone, but graphic design is all about making cool stuff, no matter what anyone says. It's all about making stuff that people enjoy looking at. And then, as well as keeping it simple, that's also what everything's about, is making sure that it's as simple as possible for people to interpret and see what you're trying to communicate, whether that be actual art or you're communicating an event at this time and this place. It's making sure that it's legible while also being interesting and cool to look at, so it grabs attention. So I'll always aim to have vibrant colors. It's simple, it's clean, and then usually it turns out pretty good.
Yeah, I've seen some of your pieces and that with the gradients and colors and that, like, it really makes it like pop.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, I guess it does, especially when you were looking on a screen and that. It does help.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, and in kind of closing, if people want to find out more about you or follow along your journey, where would be the best place to kind of follow you?
Check out my socials. I think I'm on everything at Hue Graphics. You can see my stuff and have a look and see if you like it.
Yeah, I'll also, whenever it does come out, I'll tag you below in the description, so
nice one.
People can see that there. But yeah, thanks for your time today, Jacob. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. It was great.